much, and welcome to the Thursday edition of Panola Pride. Mrs. LeGrone, our guest each Thursday, and she came in with the biggest smile on her face, so we're going to have a wonderful program today. A couple of things that we need to do to get some business out of the way. You have a special thank you that you'd like to pass on.
I certainly do. 3 girls are in our volunteers in our library department have put in so many hours in the last 2 weeks indexing our books in the genealogical library that I want to say a public thank you to them. Eva Lois Brooks came by to see if she could help do something, and this is Janelle's daughter, you know. And the girl said, "Can you type?" She says, "Can I type? That's what I do." And so they put her to typing cards, and that girl has been there morning and evening typing cards as fast as she could go to get our books properly indexed. We've had a list of them, but we haven't had them properly indexed. And she has typed as fast as Francis Hole, our library chairman, and Lucille Porter Bowen are the 2 that have just gone like house fire, putting them on the books, put the books on proper shelves and so on. So they have just been a godsend to us, that team of 3. And I wanted to say thank you personally to them for what they've done for all of us, because they have generally finished getting those books properly filed so that we can find what we have.
Very good. Your hours remain the same? Your
same.
Standard hours?
Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 10 to 3, Sundays from 1 to 4. 5, rather, 1 to 5.
Just a note, you finished now a couple of weeks or so ago with your rummage sale. Everything go as you hoped for?
It was a good day, and we earned what we hoped to earn to help us finish the upstairs. And we can see funds ahead that's going to get us ready now to open next October.
Are you saying you're being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel?
I'm seeing the light. We've been stumbling along with a candle, you know, but the light's turning on now, and so we're getting excited. We haven't had the air conditioning on in the upstairs, but the air conditioner is in. When the lightning took out our air conditioner downstairs, that slowed us down some, but it's back in good order. And the air conditioning unit upstairs is now ready to turn on.
Good.
And we have a little bit more electrical wiring to get done, and then we'll be ready to set up those exhibits up there.
Outstanding.
So, but we can't work up there in hot weather, you see. However, it's not as hot as it is outside in the sunshine, because that old building is not, it doesn't change temperatures quickly, but we're going to make it. We're on schedule.
Very good. Well, let me begin our program today by saying that you had a very unusual telephone call a few days ago.
I certainly did. Last Saturday night, I had a telephone call that touches the real purpose of our work. This work is to preserve family records for whomever desires to find them. And we don't want them to be lost. Many of them have been lost. This lady on the telephone was a stranger from California. I never heard of her. And it was nearly bedtime when she called, and we must have talked 45 minutes, I guess, long distance. And she told me that my name had been given to her as maybe the person that could open a door for her. Well, I didn't pursue it about who gave her my name, a lady in California. You never know, you know, that people toss your name around pretty good when it's something that they think you can do for them. Anyway, she told me her story and immediately wrapped me into it. She said that she was born in Panola County, and her mother died when she was just a little tyke, maybe when she was an infant. And her father gave her away, or maybe had to give her away. Why he gave her away, she didn't explain. And she was adopted by a wonderful pair of people who had reared her and loved her. And recently, both of them had died. And in her loss of them, she determined to find out about her own mother. and she knows nothing about her relatives in this county, but she knew that this is where they were. And she's 53 years old now, and she has a deep longing to know her mother's people. And this, of course, touched me because that's what I believe in, is helping people find out who they are. And I said, could you give me some names? Well, she couldn't give me very many names, but she gave me a little direction by saying that her grandparents were Barney Shivers and his wife, Henrietta Kuykendalls Shivers. Well, bells just rang all through my head. I said, oh, my dear, I can help you. We have information in the library on these two families. Both of them have been here always, you know, back through the years. And she broke down and cried on the telephone because she says, oh, thank the Lord, I found you, and you're going to be able to help me. And she asked me if I would copy some of that. She said she and her husband wanted to come to Panola County and walk through the places. I said, you need to, but I can help you find out where you want to go when you get here. And that's all she could do was give me the grandparents. And I don't know what her maiden name was to have been. I don't know who her mother married. You know, was Barney Shivers' daughter. And she said, if I send you a check for expenses to pay to your library, would you copy some of this and send it to me? I said, yes, I surely will. But send me some names so that I can know who's connected with you. Well, her letter came yesterday, and this is her letter. And she says, I think you can appreciate my desire to know as much as I can, as soon as I can. At the age of 53, I'm finding out that many are already dead, that is, of her relatives. She says, I started my search upon the death of my precious family that adopted me. And, of course, she says, I lost my mother in March. And her name, of course, does not give me a clue at all because she doesn't have any name. She's married and has another name. She sent me this page that she'd worked out, and it just doesn't make sense at all. She doesn't know enough about it. It has those grandparents and some of their children, but they're not in the right order, and they're not married to the right people or anything, so it's going to take some work for her to put them together properly. But I have done considerable research on it and went into the background that we have on them, and this is going to help quite a great deal. I wish I could see her face when she gets this packet I'm going to send her, because in all of this stuff I found the picture of those grandparents.
Exactly.
And I put it on the copy machine, and it's recognizable. You know, we have a pretty good copy machine. And that will go with the other stuff, and she will just be beside herself. I know she will. How did we fall into getting all this? This is, you know, there was a novel written a few years ago called The Eighth Day, and it is my favorite 20th century novel. Do you remember studying, digressing from our fact here, do you remember reading Our Town, the play in high school by Thornton Wilder? Well, Thornton Wilder later wrote a novel called The Eighth Day, and it is such uplifting philosophy that I'm rereading it for about the fourth or fifth time. It is a book that I just keep handy to read again when I need a lift. And it's built on the philosophy that miracles do happen, that the Lord created the world in 6 days and rested the seventh. But the eighth day, things happened again through us. And we are children of the eighth day. And we're making things happen through trust in the Lord, because he didn't quit looking on the earth when he got it created. This is the general philosophy. And through the book, there are ordinary things that happen that are just beyond your explanation. They have to be miracles. So we have miracles around us that we do not recognize. This is a miracle. Now then, we didn't make this happen. This material came to us. You see, we're just sort of fortunate handlers of it, and thankful to be. Mr. Kuykendall, Edwin Donovan Kuykendall, wrote the story of the Kuykendalls, 3 big volumes, as big as our county history book, on the Kuykendalls and all of their connections that lived at Beckville. And he had 32 copies of these 5 volumes made for libraries and donated them to them. And we are so proud to have them. And who is he? Well, I've never seen him personally. He lives in Dallas. He is a retired FBI investigator. He is an only son of Dr. Kuykendall, who was a doctor in the early part of the 20th century at Beckville. And in his mature life, he became the head doctor at Rusk Hospital. You know, the
state hospital?
Yes, the state hospital at Rusk. And he served out the rest of his career, this Dr. Kuykendall did, at Rusk, and died in Cherokee County. And he and his wife both are buried. And his wife, by the way, was a Donovan. That's the reason he's covered all the Donovans. And she was a teacher in the schools. All the rural schools around here knew her. Our older generation knew her because she was a teacher in the county. And she married Dr. Kuykendall. Okay, they had just the one child, and that is this Edwin. And he has all kinds of degrees. And he went into, as I said, the federal investigation and stayed with them for, I don't know, a full life up to retirement. And since and he wasn't even in Texas most of that time, but they moved back to Dallas, and there they retired in 1976 and took up his hobby of research. But you know, a master FBI man will get the facts.
Certainly hope so.
And he has gotten the facts and developed the 5 volumes. We didn't know about this. This came to us. This is why I said miracles happen. Who knows that it wasn't intended that this... Now, this is the story of the grandfather and his family of the lady that called me last Saturday night.
From California.
From California. And these things just touch, one thing touches another. Who would say this is not a modern miracle? And that we have a small part by putting it together. Mm-hmm. And it just makes you almost tremble that these things come to us to give us this opportunity. Well, who are the Kuykendalls? He tracks them back all the way to 1646 in Holland, and takes them generation by generation through, coming to America, settling first in New York, then to North Carolina. These are the trails that they went. Then southward with the expansion of the country, into Mississippi, and finally to East Texas. Now another interesting thing has come out of this. Middleton Kuykendall is the one that brought his family, and he settled in the extreme western edge of what is now Panola County. That was not Panola County at first. That's a little bit of land that was chipped off of Rusk County. And we haven't even talked about that Panola County has some of the original Rusk County. See, all of this, and I have to get off on another trail, but all of this land was declared to be Shelby at first. All right. Then Harrison came off of it. Then Rusk came off of it. And then Panola came off of the middle of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And a little of western part, on the other side of Beckville, was Russ County. This is certainly proof of that because in 1845, Middleton Kuykendall and his family was on the tax list in early Russ County. And I think it's interesting what was on that tax list because probably most people do not know how tax lists were made up at that time. The things that showed on his tax list were the personal items, one poll, that means one vote, one head of cattle, and one clock. Now, I can't emphasize enough that people in pioneer days lived from sun to sun. They didn't have clocks. Clocks were luxuries. And one day, I'm going to prepare a program on taxable items in the beginning and as they grew through the years, how we came to the tax question we have now that we can't handle. But a clock was a luxury. And every year that clock's going to be on that tax list. And he also owned 320 acres of land. Now that's in 1845, before there was a Panola County. The very next year, 1846, Panola County was formed. See, Texas became a state instead of a republic, and Panola County was formed. Well, when the 1850 census came out, it's the federal census for 1850, they were on it. So that's the reason we know they didn't move to another place. The land became part of Panola County, so the census went into the Panola County census. And so we have the 1850 census of the Middleton Kuykendall family living in Panola County. This is one of the ways that we find all this out. Now, Middleton and his family came to Panola County, and I followed through with he and his wife, Marion Branch Kuykendall. Both died and were buried in this county. James Marion Kuykendall was their son, and he's the grandfather of the writer of this book. Coming on down through this is also this lady who is called. Then Middleton Jonas Kuykendall is the doctor, or was the doctor. And as I said, he finished his career as a medical man at Rusk State Hospital. He died in Cherokee County, and he and his wife are both buried. She is Clara Donovan Kuykendall. They're buried out here in Fight Cemetery. And that's on the Beckville Road, you know, right out here at Ryderville. Okay, then their only son is Edwin, who was the FBI investigator and that wrote these books. So it's just a direct line. And think about what that's going to do for that lady. Think about here she's able to find out more than she'd ever hoped to find. How did they get to Texas? Well, like all the other pioneers, they came by wagon train and settled, and we won't go into a long story on that because they came as pioneers like everybody else. And Middleton Kuykendall is all through the early records of this county because he was a respected farmer and took part in community activities, whatever. Road building, I can trace them by the road crews. I've mentioned that before, you know, that we didn't have hired workers on the roads. The roads were all built by neighbors in those days, and it would list them in the Commissioner's Court minutes. And all you have to do is study those minutes, and you can find out the roads you folks lived on, even 125 years ago. Well, anyway, their migration to East Texas brought the background to all of this to us and to our area. And after Panola County was born, they were a part of Panola County. Now, there are lots of Kuykendalls that have branched out that are kin to them. Of course, he brought all those in his story, too, but we're interested in the direct lineage because of what he does for this lady. And I could go on and on, but I know our time is quickly running out. I'd like to round this out by explaining what I call hands and minds across the generations. We have held our hands out, and she has taken them, you see, and we're able to put some lines between the generations, and we're thankful for that. It's a good feeling to be able to join hands to solve a mystery of heritage, because nothing gives one a greater feeling of security than to know that the ancestors were respectable, honorable people, and that they blazed a trail for you and me. And these trails we walk now, and we walk a little prouder if we know who blazed them. The land belongs to us, though it has somebody else's name on it now. It's still our soil because our ancestors helped to claim it. We can't afford to let these heritage things die. A lot of them are gone. But if we can help just a few children, young and old, age doesn't matter when you want to know who you are. And when they ask, who am I? Where did I come from? It is a real feeling of triumph to be able to point the direction. And it just makes you claim a security that you don't have otherwise.
Very good. Ms. Bloom, thank you for being with us today. We always look forward to having you here each Thursday, and I am sure that Our Lady in California is going to be most pleased when she receives
Well, of course,
her package.
I couldn't go through all this I've collected for her, but I could just put my fingers right on it. And this is a miracle that it was
really
there.
Is. It really is. Thank you. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Don,
Thank
we
you.
better go to the news.